man who changed the face of modern theatre, the critic Harold Hobson, who died last week. And music from the Jesus and Mary chain. Good evening. The name Andrew Davies attached to a television drama is fast becoming a hallmark of excellence. His own series, A Very Peculiar Practice, pulled off that rare feat of being highly popular and also critically acclaimed. Equally rare is his ability to adapt almost any novel into award-winning television. His hits include To Serve Them All My Days, Mother Love and House of Cards, for which he won an Emmy. His most recent screenplay for Kingsley Amis's The Old Devils, which started on BBC Two on Monday night, was welcomed as the most faithful and funniest Amis adaptation yet. So how does Andrew Davies manage to tread so deftly where countless others have fallen? The Late Show invited him to share some of the secrets of successful adaptation.
You can adapt any book for television, but you can make it easy for yourself or make it hard for yourself. Although people talk about being faithful to the original, you're not going to be faithful to the original. There's no such thing as the original. Any adaptation, like any reading of the book, is an interpretation, your own view of it. So you just be bold and go for your own angle. You're onto a hiding to nothing adapting one of the classics, because everybody believes that they know what the real book is like. They've all got their picture of Mr. Darcy, they've all got their picture of Elizabeth Bennet. Yours is going to be wrong. If you're doing Pride and Prejudice, you just go for your version, enjoy it, take the money, and get ready to face the critical flak, because there's going to be a lot of it. The best sort of novelists for the adapter to work from are novelists who are dead, but they're not classics. R.F. Delderfield served me very well in that respect. He was dead, but he didn't have a tremendous lot of admirers. He wrote wonderful plots. He couldn't do characters, he couldn't do relationships, he couldn't do dialogue, he couldn't do sex, and he couldn't do jokes. That doesn't matter. I could do all them. I just loved all the plot. But I did have my problems with it, and this is where the adapter has to be brave sometimes. The adapter has to be prepared to murder. Delderfield had a character in this novel called Little Grace. There was a point in the plot at which Delderfield wanted the hero's life to change in a big way. He was too happy with his wife and his little twin girls. So Delderfield arranged a car crash for him. The wife and one of the twins died in the crash. Little Grace survived as a cripple. Kaplonk, 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 throughout the whole of the rest of the novel. I couldn't bear it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to write Grace. I said to the producer, either Grace goes or I go. There was a big long argument. They said, okay, Grace goes. Push the story to its limits, and if that involves changes, big changes, taking big liberties, we'll take them. In House of Cards, the ending of the book goes like this, that Matty discovers the guilt of Urquhart, confronts him with it, and he throws himself off the roof garden of the House of Commons. He's so filled with remorse. And I just didn't buy that, and I had to write my own ending.
Something made me turn round. I must have heard her. I had absolutely no chance of preventing her. Yes, I knew her slightly. She was a very talented young woman.
Another of my tactics, some people would say it was one of my weaknesses of character, is to jack up the sex and the humour of anything that I'm adapting.
Brilliant.
Another one that I gave the sex and humour treatment to was Mother Love. Mother Love's a brilliant psychological thriller, but in the book I found it rather cold, rather calculated, And I wanted it to be a bit more straightforwardly sexy in a nice, tender sort of way, so that we could feel fond of the characters and feel that they were vulnerable and in danger. A lot of that's to do with the casting, of course, but it's also to do with what you make them do. So I added a lot of bath scenes, a lot of tender, sexy, affectionate bath scenes, because I like bath scenes.
Yes, I must admit I do think I was rather brilliant. And I've got lots of reasons to be cheerful.
Always try to push the sex towards the spine of the narrative. Don't have it on the periphery. In the novel, House of Cards, the heroine, Mattie, is having an affair, but she's having it with the rather boring deputy editor of the newspaper she works on, and it never really leads anywhere. And I thought, well, if she's going to have sex, let's make it important. Let's put it at the centre of the story. Who could she have it with? And it had to be with the villain, Urquhart, the rogue chief whip who becomes Prime Minister. But he's old enough to be her father. All the better. That makes it more perverse, more interesting, more power-laden. He's old enough to be her daddy. She says,
I want to call you Daddy.
Now, isn't that true about corrupt politicians? Aren't they like corrupt daddies? Having made it all seem rather difficult and strenuous and a bit like gladiatorial combat, never be afraid to just copy out the best bits.
What is your trouble?
It's very difficult to impart, sir. It's very difficult to speak of, but if you care to pay me another visit, I'll try to tell you.
But I expressly intend to make you another visit. Say, when shall it be?
Oh, well, I go off duty early in the morning, sir, but I'm on again at 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
I shall come at 11.
Thank you, sir.
My final maxim is, nothing really bad can ever happen to a writer. It's all material, and you can always turn pain into money. I recently got a scene into adaptation of Kingsley Amis's Old Devils, where he really goes for the throat of a minicab driver who's been annoying him in a way that I'd never dare to do in real life.
I was wondering if you might be a Falklands veteran, or was it a Northern Ireland tour?
What?
I was wondering how you lost the use of your legs.
I also got my own first encounter with Kingsley Amis into it. It was about 15 years ago. I met him at a BBC party, and I rather stupidly and drunkenly let him know that I hadn't enjoyed his last novel all that much.
Great fan of yours. Though I didn't think this one quite captured the lyrical freshness of Mumbles Boy.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Rennick. And what on earth makes you think I'm interested in the opinion of young shags like you? Bugger off now, and a very good afternoon to you.
April the 5th. Now to one of our most influential drama critics.